The ICEVI, the Nippon Foundation Mathematics Package for Teachers video series, Abacus as a mathematical tool. Title of the video, Terminology pertaining to beads in the abacus. In abacus operations, whether it is addition or subtraction or multiplication or division, movement of the beads in the upper abacus and lower abacus takes place all the time. As we already mentioned, one bead in the lower abacus assumes the value 1, and in the upper abacus it is 5. We very often use the terminology such as add 5, 6, 2, 9 beads, etc. in a column, though there are only 5 physical beads in each column. That is, 1 bead in the upper abacus and 4 beads in the lower abacus. That means there are only 5 physical beads in each column, whereas we are using the terminology add 9, 6, etc. The terminology used here is referring to the values and not the actual number of beads. Number of beads in each column of the lower abacus is 4, and in the upper abacus it is 1, but the total value is 9. Take for example 8 plus 9. Let us set 8 in the units column. With this we have to add 9. We use the terminology that in the units column there is only 1 bead left, and therefore we have to go to the tens column. Here the terminology bead refers to the value, and therefore it should not be interpreted as the number of the physical bead. We add 1 in the tens column, and in order to compensate that we have to subtract 1 bead in the units column. Here again, when we say 1 bead, it is referring to the value. For example, when we add 4 with 8, let us set 8, we still have to go to the tens column and add 1 bead there. We add 1 in the tens column, and we have to subtract 6 from the units column. In the abacus language, when we say remove 6 beads from the units column, we refer to the 1 bead in the upper abacus and 1 bead from the lower abacus, though the physical number of beads is only 2. This terminology should be clarified to the child, as we will be using number of beads, values, etc. interchangeably in various operations. With respect to the addition of a bead on the immediate left of a particular column, which is a higher column, we always say add 10 and subtract the excess. The child must be explained that the tens column with respect to the units column is a multiple of 10. And the hundreds column with respect to the tens column is again a multiple of 10. Therefore, when the operation is dealing with the hundreds column and tens column, and if we borrow a number from the hundreds column for doing some calculation in the tens column, then we use the expression we have borrowed 10 instead of that particular number. The child should not interpret that this terminology is pertaining only to units and tens columns. In case we are adding a bead in the hundreds column instead of adding a number in the units column, then specific reference must be made that we are borrowing a number from the hundreds column. Therefore, the use of terminologies beads and borrowing number from the higher columns, etc., should be explained clearly to the child, at the beginning stages of abacus operations so that there is no confusion about these terminologies.